We started just before work. I was bored and feeling strangely adventurous. My friend Amy was having a cigarette, and she pulled out a dime-sized Ziploc with a lot of small white pills in it, took 4, and handed me 3. After we'd taken them, she explained that they were basically a natural form of speed. We swallowed them with cafe lattes. She'd been taking ephedrine for a day or so and told me that she felt it in perhaps 15 minutes. I didn't feel anything, and that was all right. Then about half an hour later, I got really speedy. I felt a nearly overwhelming urge to move obscenely fast and had to grit my teeth to remain calmly behind the cash register. My fingers raced when I swiped credit cards, ripped receipts, etc. I was enjoying myself very much, too much to be at work. Then perhaps another 15 minutes later, 1 hour after taking 75 milligrams, I felt a need to suppress my vigor. It wasn't a strong paranoia or fear, but more a determination to act as normally as possible. I spoke slowly, moved deliberately, and began to feel very lazy and physically tired. When I took a break, my body felt much as it has after an intense workout of sculling or biking. Putting my feet up on a chair as I sat brought the muscles an intensely pleasurable relaxation, comparable only to slipping into a cool bed after a long day of hard physical activity. I still wanted to get up and sprint. This was about 2 hours after the initial dose. After my break, I took 3 more pills, 75 milligrams. I perked up about 30 minutes later. The day flew by, and before we knew it, we were at the gas station buying a fresh bottle. We popped the pills all night with friends while drinking, usually 2 at a time, every 30 to 60 minutes. We were drinking margaritas and martinis. I was incredibly awake. After having 4 or 5 drinks, I was closing my eyes with wariness, but remained totally mentally awake and aware of my surroundings. With my eyes shut, it felt as though I were in a convertible moving very fast. It was a good feeling, although mildly frightening. Amy said she felt like she was rolling. At 5 a.m., we had each consumed about 14 pills, 350 milligrams, since getting home, and about 8 drinks, but also a bunch of water. Our housemate, Carol, took us to the diner. We were all wired. Our hands were shaky, our bodies pleasantly tired, and our minds fully alert. Carl hadn't taken as much as we had, and so he had a full breakfast. Amy and I slid dollar bills onto the table and contentedly sipped at raspberry iced tea, each finishing 2 glasses 30 out 1.5 hours. I felt perfectly fed the entire time. Each new sip of tea filled a tiny empty spot in my full stomach. After the sun had risen, we drove home and crashed. The hangover was phenomenal. I woke up at 2 p.m. after about 7 hours of sleep, felt horribly tired, my head ached, and I went back to sleep. The sleep was vague and interrupted. I laid for hours opening my eyes intermittently to find that lots of time had passed as though I were asleep. We got up around 5 p.m. and started it all again, taking another 20 pills each, 500 milligrams. We also snorted a couple of ground-up pills as a joke to scare a friend. They really burned, and I felt the effects very quickly, perhaps a minute or 2 after doing the lines, but they weren't particularly strong. We didn't drink much that night, but the wasted feeling when I woke up the next afternoon was the same. I've since used ephedrine to stay up writing a paper, once with a friend to party all night, and taken the pills singly, 25 milligram, before lifting weights a few times a week because several magazines advise doing so to raise the amount you can lift. In conclusion, I've found this drug to be innocuous enough in responsibly small doses, 25 to 50 milligrams, not too close to bedtime. It's pleasant, while short-lived in larger doses. I easily sleep for 15 hours after using it to stay awake, even for a short time. This hangover effect is bad enough to make using it more of a last resort than a diversion. When you take large doses, ephedrine makes your heart beat rapidly. You aren't hungry and don't care to eat. It's easy to become dependent on it to stay awake at college. It makes me very alert mentally and physically speedy. Then I quickly crash physically within a few hours, stay mentally sharp, and sometimes feel mentally raw, angry or irritated for no reason to my alarm. I am usually a very pacific individual, so much so that people often mistake my demeanor for a fabulous roll-on E, so don't take too much. The ephedrine described here is sold in bottles of 60 pills as a decongestant for asthma under the brand name Two Way at some gas stations and many truck stops for about $8.